Feeling misunderstood and 5 ways to improve your relationships. Hey, everybody, I'm Sherry Penzine from Savannah Smiles Life Coaching, and I wanted to take this opportunity today to share some empowering messages with you. Okay, so failing to communicate with one another is the most underlying factor than any other problem or issue in relationships. Okay, when we don't effectively communicate with each other, it causes a lot of unnecessary pain and unhappiness. People's feelings get hurt, people get upset, angry, and resentful, and might even feel like they were completely misunderstood. Okay, now I'm not just talking about romantic relationships, but the relationships we also have with our own families. Okay, so whether it's a sibling, it's a child, or a parent. Okay, ironically, the people that we're closest to tend to hurt us the most, and vice versa, right? So most of the time, it's not done intentionally. Okay, however, sometimes the ones we are closest, that are the ones that we are closest, that are closest to us, know us well enough, and they know exactly how to push our buttons, right? So one of the challenges when having a conversation with someone is that they might have a different perception. Okay, and this happens a lot more than you think. Okay, I just recently turned 51 years old, and it wasn't until not long ago how much I realized this is and how much I realized this, and how much of an important factor it plays into getting along and understanding each other better. Okay, especially with family members. So on that note, I want to share some personal information about myself. Okay, and yes, it's me being courageous and brave enough to be vulnerable by sharing with you. Okay, while I'm on the subject of being vulnerable, I need to be honest, right? I did not want to make this video. Okay, I didn't want to put my face on camera. I feel uncomfortable, nervous, full of anxiety, and I don't like to be up front and center. I'd rather hide quietly somewhere behind the scenes, and being unnoticed, and not bringing any attention to myself. Okay, so yes, so I'm also trying to be brave enough to show my vulnerability on these YouTube videos. Okay, by talking to you today face to face on camera. Okay, so what gave me the courage to do this was some encouragement from my sister, and also a quote that I want to share with you by Brene Brown. Okay, vulnerability is our most accurate measurement of courage. So let me get into more about myself. I'm an emotional and sensitive individual, and I can't help it. It's just the way I am, and the timing of when I was born. I'm a Pisces. I'm a Pisces sun and ascendant. So that's double the Piscean energy. Okay, and I also have an Aries moon. So anyone who knows, or anyone who is a Pisces or an Aries will understand what I'm talking about. So I don't like to admit it, but I have a bad temper. Okay, it takes a lot for me to get angry. However, when I reach a certain level of anger, there's no turning back for me. There's no point of return, okay, so to speak. And it's fucking on, right? So I get aggressive. my voice raises louder than normal, and I feel the need to express my feelings of frustration and anger. Okay. Um, and the more that people don't understand me, I don't know how to, um, the more that people don't understand me and don't know how to acknowledge my feelings, uh, and they may say things like, oh, just get over it. Oh, let it go. Hey, why don't you just suck it up? Chill out, relax. Okay. The more frustrated and angrier I get, and it's like adding fuel to my already burning fire. Okay. So, first of all, if I'm being totally and completely honest, I don't like being told what to do. Okay. And, some could say that this is an Aries trait. And secondly, I'm unable to just turn my feelings or emotions off at the drop of a hat, okay, or in a heartbeat. I can't do that. It takes me more time to process my emotions. I feel them. I have to express and communicate them, or talk about them, and then I'm able to let them go, get over it, and move on or forward from there, right? So, my mother is a Taurus. She's an earth sign and tends to be emotionally detached, okay? It's not that she doesn't have any feelings, because she does. We all do, right? I don't care who you are or how tough you are. You have feelings too, okay? So my mother just does not express or show anyone her feelings. And my point is, because I have an emotional and sensitive personality and my mother does not, we communicate with each other very differently, okay? Our views and perceptions about many things are also extremely different. And then this causes a lot of miscommunication, miscommunication issues between us, and ends up with a lot of hurt feelings, usually mine. And then I usually end up walking away or going home feeling extremely misunderstood by my mother, even at the age of 51. So, from my own personal experiences, okay, when I am seeking to be understood and communicating with my mother, it can go so wrong so fast. And it turns into me just wanting to justify myself and put the blame on my mother for our communication problems, right? Because my perception is she does not know how to acknowledge my feelings or how I feel, or and being not as emotional and sensitive as a person like myself, right? So one thing I do want to make absolutely clear here right now is that blaming and pointing fingers at someone gets us absolutely nowhere, okay? And no one ever wins. Everybody loses out here. And it just makes you feel shitty. And nothing ever gets resolved, right? So it's about how to solve communication issues with our loved ones and being understood while being brave and vulnerable enough to admit the role or the part we each play in it, eliminating the blame, okay? So what can we do about our failure to communicate effectively? Yes, at times it's very tempting to throw the towel in, throw up your hands, call it quits, get upset and angry, and never want to talk to the person ever again, right? Walk away and just considering that the things will never change or be resolved within the relationship, therefore holding on to the poison of resentment and hurt. and causing our own selves even more misery and pain. Okay. Um, so the need for being understood is way more important to me than it is the need to be right in this specific situation. Okay. Um, and this is the thing that some people haven't quite recognized or are not aware of yet. Okay. It's not about who's right or who's wrong. Okay. Remember, are, we're leaving the blame out of this. Okay. Blaming only creates more hurt and angry feelings. So, getting to the heart of this could shed light on the reasons behind some of our relationship problems. Okay. We can gain more insight, and it could allow us to have more compassion for not only ourselves, but for our loved ones as well. Okay. Um, Excuse me one second. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so, right, and we're just guided to find another approach for achieving more mutual understanding. Okay. This is the main reason for this video today. Okay. So, on that note, none of us are perfect, right? We all have our flaws and imperfections, okay? But when we can learn to embrace our own imperfections and nurture ourselves, we are then able to be more empathetic towards other people's flaws and imperfections, okay? So I want to talk about and share with you some of the core reasons for longing to be understood. And you might feel like some of these reasons don't apply to you, okay? However, I believe that we all are at some levels or somewhere on the scale for each one of these reasons, okay? So here's one of the reasons. We all have a deep need or yearning for love and approval, okay? Another reason is the opinions of other people matter and mean much more to us than we would like to admit. And it has an effect on us to varying degrees, okay? By the need to meet the expectations of others, turning into an enormous amount of weight that we end up carrying around on our shoulders, okay? So another reason is we are naturally born to feel that connection, okay, is of vital importance, thus driving us to desperately seek to be understood through our fears of disconnection, okay? Let me say that one more time. We are naturally born to feel that connection is of vital importance, thus driving us to desperately seek to be understood through our fears of disconnection. So I also want to share with you 5 ways to improve your relationships by communicating effectively, okay? So trust me, I have learned these all the hard way and have suffered the consequences of not learning these much earlier in my life when I was younger, okay? I'm not perfect, and I'm still currently practicing these, okay? So, 5 ways to improve your relationships, right? And by communicating effectively. Number 1 is recognizing, admitting, and embracing your own vulnerabilities, okay? Being aware of them is essential to feeling understood and will help you understand yourself better, and why you're feeling these very intense emotions over misunderstandings, okay? When you start, number two, when you start to feel upset and understood, pause and take a deep breath before reacting or responding, okay? Trust me, It's extremely easy to start blaming, attacking the other person, or begin getting very defensive, or even doing all these, right? So, number three, make sure what you heard or read is in fact correct. Okay. Sometimes when people text or do emails, right, it may seem that they're being too harsh or critical, right, or overly critical. And however, we don't know this as a fact. Okay. We can't hear the tone in their voice or see their facial expressions. So we're just assuming, right, or perceiving it in that manner. Remember, perception is everything, and we all have different ways of perceiving things. This is a good reason why I don't really care for texting on cell phones. Number four, when you're with someone face to face, okay, and who said something that hurt your feelings or came across as condescending or whatnot, say calmly, I really want to understand how you feel, but what you just said seemed pretty harsh. And it sounded like you were saying blank. Is that what you meant? And let me tell you, often if you ask this, the other person will give you a response that might totally shock you, okay? And they'll say something like, "Oh no, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant at all." And then that person has a chance to explain themselves, okay? And excuse me. So, number five, drop the expectation of thinking that other people are mind readers, right? I don't care even if someone has lived with you for 40 years. They cannot read your mind. It's not fair to the other person, and it's not realistic, okay? If, sorry, I got a frog in my throat. Okay, so if you can let go of that expectation, then you will quickly be able to view the misunderstanding in other ways, okay? So guys, I want you to remember that we all have the same underlying needs, right? Maybe the other person's unkindness or hostility is fueled by their own vulnerabilities and fear of disconnection, okay? That is something really to ponder on and think about. Yeah, maybe the other person's unkindness or hostility is fueled by their own vulnerabilities and fear of disconnection, okay? If you're dealing with a long-term pattern of hurt feelings and misunderstandings with someone close and important to you, look, the bad habits, the cycles of hurt, the defensiveness, the aggression, it's not going to fade away overnight. There are so many hidden and underlying emotional triggers that can ruin your best intentions, okay? So, you know what? Start off, begin with baby steps. Take it one step, one day at a time. Another option is to seek some counseling from a professional, okay? That's not weak. That shows bravery and courage, okay? And it shows that you really care about the other person and your relationship, okay? To seek out counseling from a professional to get help, right? So of course, yes, there is going to be, a lot of uncertainty and risk, right? Involved. And of course, it's much easier said than done. I know. Okay. But when we begin to respond or react differently towards others, right? We might not always get back a response or reaction that we wanted from the other person. Okay, that person might not be willing to back down or make the effort to understand you. But as Brene Brown conveys, okay, we can achieve great strides towards widening the circle of love and understanding in our lives by daring greatly. Daring to be vulnerable with those we love and daring to reach out to them and accept them too, right? Flaws and all, okay? I genuinely believe wholeheartedly it's a risk worth taking. How about you? So, guys, I want to hear from you, okay? Leave me a comment under this video and let me know that I'm not all alone and the only one in the world who has experienced this, okay? I want to thank you for watching and for all the love and support. And if you've enjoyed this video or found it helpful in any way, please give it a thumbs up and share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, okay? And until next time, I'm sending you all much love, peace, and positive vibes.